So far, they haven't figured out how to make the online part work.
Are they trying, or are they?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't hear anything, so I have no idea.
Oh, I've dialed in remotely. I can hear you.
I'm dialed in remotely too, but I only hear the people that are dialed in remotely, I think.
And I'm on mute, so I thought that I couldn't be heard.
Are you dialed in as well?
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Hey, Blanche, you're going to...
Yeah, I told her she can talk to me about like how she wants to resign, how we'll do it.
Okay. All right, we have a quorum here, so we're going to start the meeting. It is 6:04, and this is the 7th regular meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission. And let's start off with the agenda. Anybody, Commissioner, everybody's got an agenda, right?
Yeah.
If anybody out there wants to see an agenda, I got a couple extras. There. Okay. Oh, Martha. Hi. How you doing? Oh, good. Okay. First off, calling the meeting to order at 6:04. Park and Rec Commission Commissioners' attendance. We have Mary Ellen here, Glenn, myself, Tim, Brendan, and Don Bugsy, the director. Anyone out in telephone land, Commissioner? No? That's about it, because she, I don't think, was going to make it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she had something to do with the Lyme Youth Service. And, so we'll move on to the next one. Just before we get to the part of the meeting, I would like to welcome our new Assistant Director, Winnie Edmond, that cannot be here. She's the Assistant Director of Park and Rec now. She has volleyball or something over at the high school. But I guess she started the first week or so of March, and we'd like to thank the Selectmen and the Board of Finance for going along with our recommendation to hire a part-time assistant without benefits. And she has been, Don, you want to make a couple comments about how helpful Winnie has been so far?
She's been excellent to date. We got a lot of new stuff that I'll be talking about already lined up, and she's certainly a welcome addition to the Parks and Rec Department for sure.
I know, it's amazing that you were able to service so many people by yourself, whereas other towns had a lot more help. Okay, so Winnie, really happy you're on board. Okay, now, the previous minutes were in January, and I read the minutes. Everybody read the minutes. Would someone have any additions or subtraction? No, February I was away, and John wasn't here, so we didn't have the meeting. And then we didn't have the March meeting because we didn't have a quorum. So it's been a while. Normally we take only 1 or 2 meetings a year off, but we took our 2 already. But anyway, anybody would like to make a motion or an addition or subtraction to the minutes of January?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of January.
Yeah, it was the January 6th regular meeting, okay? A motion, anyone second?
Yeah.
Approve it?
I'll second it too.
Okay, any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No? Anyone abstain? No. Okay, so as we move on, the next one, it's with sadness, but hopefully things were going to work out well for John. John Flower moved to Maine, I think it was towards the end of January, right, Brendan, when they when Brendan helped him out a little bit, and that he had been talking about it, and they finally moved and sold his house. So he resigned, and John was the vice chairman, who sometimes might have to run one meeting a year here, and that was basically it as far as work responsibility is concerned. So I had spoken to Brendan if he would be willing to take over the vice chairman position, and it was affirmative, right?
It was affirmative.
Yes. So anybody? I mean, Brendan will be great.
For it.
Yeah. Okay.
My vote.
So,
Now.
All right.
so I think maybe we have to make a motion to make it a motion to appoint Brendan McKeever will be the new vice chair of the Park and Rec Commission. Any discussion on that? Oh, okay. All right. Anybody? Oh, did we make a motion?
No.
Oh, we didn't make a motion. I skipped ahead. Okay, make a motion, please.
That Brendan will become the new vice chair of the Parks and Rec Commission.
Okay. Second?
Second it.
Okay. We had the discussion. Everything. Nobody wants to add any more to that, or anything? You want the job?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. All right. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Did you say aye, Tim? I said aye. Oh, okay. You want to?
Do I abstain on this? I don't know.
No, it's okay if you say aye.
Aye, sure.
It's, yeah. All those opposed? None? Abstained? None? Okay. So we're done with that part. Okay, the director's report, an update on the PRC programs and facilities.
All right, ongoing programs right now, we've got adult basketball up and running again for a while now. We play twice a week, Wednesday evenings at the high school, 6:30 to 8:30, and Sunday mornings at the high school, 10 to 12. And these sessions will run most likely through June 1st. Our yoga sessions are being held at Mile Creek School. We're in session 3 right now. It'll end up next week. There's 6-week sessions. They're held at Mile Creek School in the Library Media Center, and we're working on what we'll call session 4 shortly to figure out what's going to happen May and into early June. Our youth basketball program ended on March 12th. Started January 22nd. The original schedule was to end on March 5th, extended a week because of being canceled on January 29th due to a snowstorm. We had 103 kids participating in that, grades K through grade 5, and I'd like to thank 9 of the high school girls basketball players who refereed games for us and assisted with coaching each group, and the volunteer coaches, again, and these girls did an outstanding job throughout that season. We had started adult volleyball, that's where Winnie is tonight. Sessions are held at the high school gym on Thursdays, 6:30 to 8:30. This is a new 10-week program, started on March 24th, and will go through May 26th. There have been between 14 and 24 participants each night. We charge $30 for residents, $40 for non-residents, and $5 for drop-offs. Going forward, we are anticipating this program will run throughout the school year like we do with basketball. Coming up in May, be on Tuesdays for tennis. These sessions will be 1-hour sessions, 3:30 to 4:30, held at Cross Lane Park. It's open to players in grades 1 through 5. Most likely we'll be getting kids from Mile Creek School, bring them over to the courts, and then kids will be picked up by their parents. Summer programs coming up. The day camp is scheduled to run June 27th through August 5th. Monday through Friday, 9 to 2. Will be held at the high school again. No camp on Monday, July 4th. The camp is for ages 5 through 12. We have a basketball camp scheduled June 27th through July 1st, Monday through Friday, 8 to 11. We held at the Lime Middle School gym for boys grades 4 through 8. We have entirely new after-camp programs now that we're going to run for the 6 weeks of day camp. Day camp is over at 2, and each one of these programs will start at 2 to go to about 3:45, Monday through Friday, held at the high school. The first week, June 27th through July 1, will be soccer. Second week, 4-day week to the 4th of July, July 5th through 8th, will be what we're calling Bike Week. That'll be safety and scenario tips about biking, basic bike maintenance, and some group rides. And we are collaborating with Bikes for Kids from Essex, Connecticut, and hopefully Morrissey Cycles of Oline. Program materials are coming on the week. The third week will just be a general sports camp. A variety of sports will be offered. The fourth week, July 18th through 22nd, will be basketball. The fifth week, July 25th through 29th, will be tennis. And the sixth week, August 1 through 5, will be, again, a variety of sports. We have 2 Community Athletic Solutions CAS camps, soccer camps scheduled and under contract. Scheduled camps July 11th through 15th, and August 1 through 5. Each of those camps will have 3 sessions, depending on sign-ups and age of the participants. Moving on to staff. All of last year's staff has been contacted to determine if they're planning on returning this summer. Of the 27 employees last year, 21 have confirmed their return, 4 have declined, 2 are unsure at this time. I'm receiving new applications at this point, and my hopes are to have everything in place by the end of April. I have a full-time nurse who's committed to working as well. There will be a change in supervision this year, and I've been discussing this with new candidates, and I think I'm going to increase the summer staff numbers this year to what it was previously with the COVID stuff. And last year we only had 5 weeks of camp. This year we're back to 6. I think we're in very good shape overall with staff, with the exception of lifeguards, which are usually the toughest to find, but we're doing some additional advertising for them.
Were they able to actually get their certification this year, various pools, Don? Because that was a problem during COVID. They couldn't get, they have to be certified every 2 years or something?
Certifications are backing up and running through Red Cross all over the place.
Yeah, okay, good.
On to facilities at Cross Lane Park. The water has been turned on. The facility has been initially cleaned. It is now operational. We do have a slight problem in the concession area with the grease trap that we're trying to get that fixed. The scheduling a meeting with vendors to determine what is needed for the tennis and basketball repairs soon, and updates will follow on that. And Lime Little League has started their cleanup and their activities down at Cross Lane. Haynes Park, the water's been turned on. The initial cleaning was completed today. We're waiting for a satisfactory water test results before we can open it for use, and a new water filter system will be installed shortly as well. The docks at the park...
Excuse me, are you going to do that UV system we talked about?
Yeah, something like that. Phil's handling it, but...
That's a UV system?
I don't know exactly what it's called.
To get rid of the bacteria?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
The docks were reinstalled and all the rowing activities have started, and a safe kayak dock system has also been installed. Townwoods Park, the water is turned on. Initial cleaning was completed today. Again, we're waiting for satisfactory water tests before opening the building for use. The seasonal field maintenance has started. Fields have been lined for lacrosse and goals have been put out. Soccer field lining will be completed later this month. Goals will be put out, and I met with the lacrosse club and soccer club representatives and have discussed all season details to date. Moving on to my budget.
Excuse me, Don. Last year we had a problem with, especially, I think you said it's broken down. About a third of the participants of lacrosse come from Valley region, a third from Lyme and Old Lyme, and a third from Old Saybrook and Essex or whatever.
Right.
And normally, except for last year, these other towns were compliant in providing field space for practices and games. Valley was the one exception that refused to do anything, and so all the games at least were being played at Town Park just because we hate to penalize the kids and stuff. How about this year? Have they committed to having?
This year, numbers are 246 members in the lacrosse club. The approximate breakdown for Lyman Line kids is 37%, a little over a third. Saybrook is 34%. The Tri-Town areas, Essex, Deep River, and Chester, are 26%. And then there's a few kids from 4 kids from Clinton and 5 kids from Westbrook. We talked about that in length. Apparently, the Tri-Town areas are still not providing field space for kids. However, Old Saybrook has increased theirs, and the club is playing a lot of games and stuff over here on the new turf field. So I haven't got the exact schedule yet. It's been so I think it's gonna, with the exception of Valley, I think the activity at Townwoods Park is going to be considerably less than it was.
Right.
I haven't seen the exact schedule yet to figure out how close it is to these approximate estimates, but I think
it's approximate. But Valley should not be able to just get away without providing anything. Are you going to take steps to talk to the superintendent of the high school?
I took steps to talk to the superintendent last year, and I never even returned my phone call.
Well, I think we should pursue that because they should not be able to just participate without providing, because they did in the past.
I think I should take a different approach on that. If approximately a third or so of the activities at Town Woods or so, that's our concern. If Valley's not providing anything, that's the club's concern.
Oh, okay. So have you made that?
I should disagree.
No. Have you made that clear to the representatives of the lacrosse club that they have to?
We talked about all this. Yes.
They have to pursue this, and
yes,
it's just not right that.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, that they think they can play here and don't provide any field space at all, especially since they did it in the past. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know either.
Okay, well, we're going to follow up on that, I'm sure, right? Okay.
Okay, moving past facilities onto my budget. Obviously, my proposed budget was completed. I went before the Board of Finance, discussed it, the Board of Finance approved it, and now we're waiting for town approval at the town meeting in I believe it's in May. Lyme Youth Service Bureau, Winnie attended and represented Lyme Parks and Rec at the recent LYSB Summer Camp and Activities Fair held at the high school on March 30th. I guess it was well attended. There was certainly a lot of vendors there advertising their wares, so that's a good event that they put on, get a jump start to everybody in the summer. Rec Desk is a online sign-up system that we are going to be installing here. Winnie and I have been through 2 instructional Zoom meetings on it so far, and the third one is scheduled for next Monday, which will include Nicole, our finance director, with the banking end of it. And we hope to have this system up and running in place by May 1st at the latest, maybe a week or so earlier. So everything will be done online through our new system. And all Parks and Recreation program announcements now are detailed on the Parks and Rec website, on Facebook, Instagram, and electronically distributed through District 18. So everybody should know what's going on. And that's it.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Don, or suggestions, or comments?
No.
I have all this. I can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, it sounds like you've been busy, Don.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and it's all good. Like, I love the idea of the tennis. That sounds great. Who would be the instructor?
Winnie.
It's great. So.
Winnie, like the after camp stuff, Winnie will be running that, and I'm doing one myself, and yeah, we're taking care of it.
I love it. Very nice.
Wow. What great news compared to the last couple of years trying to get through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing no more comments, move on to old business. The first part is security cameras for Haynes Park. As I said at the last meeting, we had a couple estimates, and Tim Griswold and Phil Parchik were going to choose the firm to do it. But Phil has brought up that there's discussion within the community about should we all link into some sort of cloud mechanism which provides better resolution in the cameras, better record keeping for a longer period of time, and also that police, fire, and whoever in the town is connected will be able to get immediate access to what's going on at, say, Townwoods Park or Haynes Park, or are they having transfer stations that are going to have security cameras? I believe they're going to. Martha, who else may be having cameras? Do you know?
Pretty much townwide. I mean,
yeah.
Sound,
oh, yeah, okay. There could be lots of cameras.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're looking, I mean, I'm on the down to operations advisory board.
Yes.
And executive, but one of the things is we're talking to Comcast because, they have used it at one of the other, private use associations, Old Colony, I believe, and they've had great luck with it, and it's like $40 a month, and you can post on it every single.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Sounds like the way definitely to go. It's up to the selectmen and the Board of Finance then to give the go-ahead to appropriate the funds for it all.
Quoting going on.
Yeah, and I hope that gets done sooner rather than later, so we can be in tune with the way things are these days and the times. And I think it's a great idea to do that. And Phil says there's going to be money in the budget. I think the estimates didn't exceed $13,000 for the cameras and some of the equipment at Haynes Park. But as far as what this other cloud business is going to cost, I don't have any numbers on that, but that would add to the expense. But I think it's going to be great once we get it installed. And as I mentioned before, there's going to be at least 2 cameras on the restroom that have a 180-degree sweep, so that we'll be able to get a pretty good view of almost all of Haynes Park, including even the front of the boathouse and all the way 180-degree sweep from the restroom. And then plus, I think there's going to be a camera just dedicated to who comes in and out of the restroom. So remember, 3 days after we opened that restroom, it got vandalized, which was just sad. But anyway, okay. Anyone else have any comments or suggestions about the security cameras at Haynes Park? No?
Nothing for me.
No. Hearing none, we'll move on. The Safe Kayak launch, Don mentioned it in his report. It was installed probably a couple of weeks ago, I think, on a Sunday. I saw Mike McGee, and Mike contacted Don, and it looks nice. It's all the way over, way far away from the boathouse at that end of the park, at the end of the beach. And there's, I think, whatever happened to the Phragmites? I think the Phragmites, they removed the Phragmites that were there? Or?
I don't know.
We have to check on that.
I think they were going to.
They were supposed to because, I mean, that stuff spreads fast. And we even talked to the guy from Rogers Lake Authority about the proper way to get rid of it. And basically he said bring it down to the transfer station because, there's Phragmites over by where they were installing that thing. Okay, well, that should be something I hope a lot of, especially older people that have more of a problem getting in and out of a kayak are going to use this summer, and we'll see how it goes and how that position works for it. Anybody else want to say something about safe kayak launch? No? And we thank the Harbor Commission and Mike McGee and Terry Lewis were kind of the heads of this safe launch. And we thank them for all their efforts. The Harbor Commission actually paid for the safe launch, and the town donated one of the connected dock sections that are 10 feet wide by 7.5 feet long to be used over there for this. So we hope that a lot of people like using that this summer once it warms up a little bit.
Just a comment about it, talking to Mike, like in August when the lake is down a bit.
Yeah.
It'll get pretty shallow over there, and they're just going to move it out farther.
Yeah.
It's very easily to move. So.
Yeah, right. Everybody just have to get their feet wet a little bit because there's a little platform or something to it now, right? Yeah. Well, that definitely that section gets very shallow, so I have to just move it. But that should work. Okay. The next one is no parking signs for Haynes Park. Okay. We've gotten comments from some of the abutting neighbors there that, not crazy about a fence being put in, but we have in the past had vehicles traverse through park property, left ruts a couple springs ago. Even Tim Griswold walked with us, and we could see ruts everywhere where people were pulling their cars there. Sometimes cars have been parked there. We actually one time saw a boat and a trailer parked on park property. So we're talking about, and I spoke to Tim too, about putting no parking signs along where the right-of-way is, where the right-of-way ends, and there's easements that were given that as long as there is a way to get to an easement, you could have a fence. But we're going to try it out initially to put fences that would say, and Tim suggested maybe vehicles prohibited, and we'll go to the selectman's office once we talk to the director of facilities of how many signs we may want to put out there. Vehicles prohibited by order of selectmen of Old Lyme. Well, Martha, of course, will come to a meeting for you guys to approve that. And Tim wanted to put in signs that are not just real easy ones to pull out of the ground or anything. He wanted to put in good signs. And from what I hear, Ed Adante is the one through him that handles getting signs or something through.
It's with the rock site.
As a company or something, or that will be the contact that, once we determine how many signs and also if that language is going to be what everyone wants, vehicles prohibited rather than no parking, okay? So that way nobody should be driving a vehicle there. And we're going to ask the beach badge checker in the summer that just keep an eye over there. We have additional help for Don now at Winnie, so they can split up where they have to go in the summer when everything gets very active here. And if we find someone that's illegally parked or putting a boat over there or whatever, we just take a little picture and provide it to the policeman in town. And then I don't know if we ward them first or however that's up to the security people in town to how we want to do that, but that's what we're going to do. And if that works, then we probably don't have to put a fence around there. But we'll see if that works. And I see Greg's here, so if a budding neighbor has, like you, Greg, happens to see somebody parking over there or whatever when you guys are over there rowing or whatever, please contact Don, and if Don's not available, Winnie. Okay, but he's the initial contact for everything that goes on in any of the parks. And if he's not available for some reason, Winnie is now available to help. Okay, anybody have any more comments about that? So we're going to be, I'll talk to Phil. Is the consensus of the group, this is a good way to try it out?
I think so, yeah.
Consensus of the chair, yeah. I think this is a good way to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll have to revisit.
How many signs are you thinking? I mean,
Excuse me?
I know they're going to determine how many signs, but how many are you thinking that would be needed?
I don't know. I'll ask Phil. I don't know. We don't want a ton of signs out there.
But people have trouble seeing the no dogs allowed signs at the park.
Oh, yeah. In fact, Don says sometimes out of Townwoods Park,
They sit there next
You
to
see
the
that?
no
They're
dog
standing right next to it. No dogs allowed.
with their dog digging a hole in the park.
Yeah.
It drives me insane.
But anyway, so we'll give it a try and see if that works. And if it does, well, that'll be great. And I know, Don, it's still premature, but we've talked to about the new playground equipment. We may actually even be moving the playground a little bit more towards the sand where.
We're waiting for that information.
Yeah, but that next time we'll report on that, I guess, once we get more information on that. So it'll be closer to the moms or dads too that are on the beach maybe, and they can watch the kids. And it's going to be a very small playground because we already have two big ones on either side of town. One at Town Woods and one down by Cross Lane. And in fact, is the one back at Mile Creek School, that's only for after school hours or something, or the one by Mile Creek?
I think you can only go there after school.
Yeah, and then after school you can go.
You got a new one over there too.
Yeah, there's plenty. So this is just this playground's going to be handicap accessible one, but basically aimed towards very young kids because the pond is the lake is so shallow there that it's basically young families go there in the summertime. Okay, so I should have said vehicle prohibited signs rather than no parking, but being that we've talked about that and it seems to be everyone's in agreement, we move on to the next point of the old business, the community garden. As we all know, that last year we gave Jim Ward and his group, which is a tremendous volunteer effort, to put a community garden out at Town Woods Park, and it's basically adjacent. It's in back of the field house, adjacent to the baseball fields, and there was a big plot of property. It was perfect. Get sun all afternoon. They started work on that last year. I happened to see Jim a couple mornings ago at Coffee's market that I go to every morning for my coffee and newspaper. And he said that things are going well there, and they expect maybe to get their first string beans would be the first ones coming out in end of May or beginning of June, but the first crop may be coming out then. So I asked them, I said, well, how about when you get your first crop, maybe we have a little meeting to congratulate them out there, because then he can tell what communities he's going to be donating to and all that. He said, that'd be wonderful. So we'll keep on top of that and see how his growing season's going, and whenever we get ready to provide the first vegetables, then maybe a few of us can go out there and just maybe get reporters out there just to say, here we go, we're helping out, and what a great volunteer effort this is.
Yeah, I think that project is outstanding, and Jim and all his associates should be commended for what they're doing out there.
Right. So I think we would have some sort of little ceremony or something out there with the selectmen also if they wanted to attend. This is such a win-win, a great thing for the community, especially what people have been going through the last couple of years. This was what a great idea. And of course, he got all the right clearances from inland wetlands and everything else to put it where he did. And he fenced the thing in. He's got a little shed out there, and they get beds, and they're raising all the money too, which is wonderful. Okay, anybody else would like to talk about the community garden? So I'll keep everyone abreast because I'll be speaking to him, and I also told Jim to speak to you and get ready. They're gonna, when they get ready to start harvesting, Don, and we'll put a little something together for that. I think. Okay, all right. Handicap access to the boathouse and concrete slab for a pavilion. Okay, we went out there and Phil actually had inland wetlands people out there, and there was a potential spot between the restrooms and the 100-foot review area from the lake that you could put, we're talking about either 21 by 12 foot or 22 by 12 foot pavilion out there, which generously was raised by people with the Old Lyme Rowing Association for improvements down at Haynes Park. And one of the things that one of their donors wanted was a pavilion, and we've always talked about getting a pavilion where you put a couple handicap tables, outdoor tables there, and yeah, I think it'd be great because you already see people going and eating lunch down there and stuff like that. So it'd be a great addition to the park. But we're still talking about potential areas to put the actual slab. Now, from the handicap area, a sidewalk can be put in, and they marked out where a sidewalk would go all the way over to the driveway of the boathouse, and then that boathouse would then truly be handicap accessible. Even the handicap, because there was no way to go from handicap over there. So we'd have a sidewalk, and then we were out there today talking about another potential position to put the slab, which would have to be about, if it was a 20-foot, 1-foot thing, he said 23-foot slab by 14-foot slab, and then you anchor the pavilion into it. We've got the barnyard people that were the only ones last year that would guarantee that they would have it done because of all the supply chain issues. And the estimates we got were within, I don't know, $1,000 or a few $100s of one another for it. So we put a deposit down with the barnyard because we know that they're going to do it. I mean, that's a big operation. And so we'll have to see whether or not where we have it staked out now, which is in front of the basketball court, but it's within the 100-foot review area. Now, the 100-foot review area, we have to go before inland wetlands, and I don't know if we have to, according to Phil, maybe not zoning, but at least with the zoning enforcement officer, who we spoke to today after we had our meeting, who said that yes, we could approach that and find out whether or not we'd be granted, because it's just a small area, even though most of the pavilion would be in the 100-foot review area. But we'll see if they would approve it or not. And if they do, well, that's a good spot for it. Or the CEO said that the other spot between the bathroom and the lake will be good, except there's a big tree there with big roots. And so the other alternative is maybe we could put it there, and we wouldn't go within the 100-foot review area, but the problem is these tree roots. So then we'd have to talk to the tree people or whomever, like, could we cut down a tree to put this in if we can't do it in this other area? So we're working on it, and we'll see what happens. And Phil has been very good. He already had them come out for this other, but the way he had it, they came out this week sometime to look at, and they approved where it was going to be, but it was much too close to the basketball court. So Don and I and Winnie were out there with Phil this morning, and it's just not a good spot where it's too close to the basketball court. And I also saw that although there is a right-of-way that was developed, I don't know, many years ago for a guy who used to, 1920s, that actually you got the parking lot with the bollards, and then there's about a 10-foot area in there that was granted in the 1920s for a guy who lived across the street. But that right-of-way may not even be necessary anymore. And even in the plans that were put together by BSC, which I sent Phil, they have the written things on the bottom of the plans, that it said that right-of-way could go away just on its own, or the town could pay $300 to make it go away. But with that extra 10 feet, though, you could move that pavilion over far away from the basketball court.
It's not a right-of-way, just for clarification. I don't believe it's a right-of-way for access. It's a right-of-way to drain water from Boston Post Road.
Whatever, but in the notes it says for $300 you could get it could go away, and the fact that Phil says if the state doesn't care about that because they put the other drainage
Drains
up.
off of Town Woods Road now.
Huh?
The water drains off of Town Woods Road now.
Oh, in the back.
Yeah.
But didn't Phil do something but trenching and all and he put gutters on the boathouse to really improve that situation?
Yes. Yes.
So unless it's really pouring. But before, because they didn't, when the boathouse was built, the apron for the boathouse driveway actually is tilted towards the basketball court. So when the water would come in, all the water and dirt and all was going on the basketball court. Well, Phil did some remedial things because that was originally supposed to go straight down and then be absorbed by that plastic, but I don't know, somehow it was all angled towards, which it shouldn't have been. And Phil's also talking about getting Anton or somebody out there to correct that, because when it rains really hard, there's a lot of water that comes in, and there was no lip on that either, which there should have been some sort of lip, because I think town ordinances, you have to have 6 inches, either a lip, but not a 6-inch lip, but a 6-inch rise before even a homeowner's driveway can go towards a house, just to prevent water just coming right into a person's driveway and garage. Well, anyway, Phil's also working on that, and so we're going to see if we could have a pavilion that would partially be within that review area, and that's where that's at. And once we're going to have a meeting, now that all correspondence and all discussions about the high school rowing program now have to take place with Hildy and the superintendent and the principal, that the director of rowing will no longer be directly corresponding because of some incidents that have happened over the past few years, so that we'll talk to them about it and get anybody who wants to go down there and see where it's staked out, they can take a look. But anyway, we'll pursue that in the upcoming days with the athletic director and Ian, the superintendent. So anyway, that's where we're talking about that. And of course, I think that would be a great addition, people just to get out of the sun in the summertime and have their lunch. And even if you guys, the rowers, have activities there, they would have a place to have their snacks and stuff like that. And so I think it would be a tremendous asset to have at Haynes Park. Anyone want to make any other comments or suggestions rather than listening to me anymore? Okay. Oh, yeah. Excuse me?
Could I speak to this now, or should I wait to the end?
Wait to the end. Okay. All right. Okay, we're on that. Okay, so new business. Well, I have one part of new business that's kind of sad, but I'm glad for her. Glenn McElraw is going also to be leaving the Park and Rec Commission. Lynn, you want to speak? You want to go down to Florida? Closer? Yes. So this is going to be your last Park and Rec meeting?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've been on this commission since '82.
You don't have to say that. Many.
I was 10 years old.
She was 10, I remember.
Oh, they let young people do it, okay. Yeah, no, many, I wasn't going to get into that, how many years you've been on it, but a long time.
I don't know what to do on the first Thursday of every month.
Yeah, Glenn used to be the chair, not only the chair, and so we're all going to miss you because you've been a very valuable member, and to come to all these meetings and all the work you've done over the years, but we wish you well.
Thank you.
And it's Don is. We're getting the word out to some. We want to try and get some of the younger people involved. So Brendan, you may know some of the younger people that to apply for an opening. But it's you're young considered to guys like me and Don.
I will help any way I can.
Yeah, and because, well, just to have people that have young children in the program, it's better to be attuned to what's needed.
I agree.
Yeah, and so that, I guess you guys have a few people in mind and pass the word around, and that we have a couple openings. You have to get they would have to get fill out a form.
Yeah, an application.
Yeah, and then we would talk to the first selectman and others about who we recommend, and so, but we're gonna miss you.
I'll miss you all too.
Yeah. Well, are you?
I'll call in on this.
Are you? Yeah, you
Sure,
can.
I'll call it. Every on the first.
You can call it. I think there's probably better things to do at 6 o'clock,
Right.
Florida. So if you want to, you're always welcome to call in. Okay, Glenn, we're going to miss you. Thanks so much for all your work over the years. That's all I got. Any other new business?
Nothing for me.
No? Okay. Then we get, correspondence. I don't really, we had some very questionable correspondence from the director of the Old Lyme Rowing Association that I was going to suggest that all those correspondence be attached to the minutes. I'd rather not get into it unless somebody really wants to get into it, but the superintendent, principal, and director of athletic director all had conversations with Mr. Fuchs, and they asked me to wait on my response to what he sent about warming up on the basketball court, which, by the way, ever since 2018, the school also agreed that there should be no rowing activities on the basketball court, because the first year when the boathouse was built, in 2017 it opened. That year was lots of rowing things were taking place on the basketball court, and so we got complaints from people who wanted to go play basketball, and that's why. And we walked out a whole bunch of, I think it was July meeting of 2018. We had a whole series of new things that we wanted the school to also buy into, which they did. And since 2018, that's been the rule. And every year, it seems that Mr. Fuchs tried some other way to change that, and he's repeatedly been told and reinforced by the athletic director that to stay off. Even if it's only one or two kids that wants to come over to play basketball, and there's a whole group of high school kids there testing on herbs or warming up. In my response to them, pointed out all the different places they could warm up safely without goose poops. Okay, because the geese seem to hang by the lake, basically, and but not on the upper parts of the grass and adjacent and in back of the boathouse, and not on the driveway to the boathouse, and not on the concrete lip to the boathouse. And plus, there's a multi-purpose room in the boathouse that if it complied with COVID measures of the high school, whatever their latest rules are, there's plenty of places to warm up. So, but we'll attach that, but I don't want to get into that. It was special, we'll say.
All right.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, that was correspondence. Public comment. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, sure. Just two things. Number one, thank you for the suggestion for the sign that is the park. I think that's a nice way to go about that. Hopefully will be successful.
Yes.
And so thanks for that. The second thing is I just learned about the potential site for the pavilion. I think the pavilion in general is fantastic. I've supported that all along. I think it's a nice way to use those funds that you said that were raised in connection
right.
With the project. I think it would be important if you discuss that with Region 18 and the athletic director.
Most definitely.
As you know, it doesn't come up that often, but maybe 5 or 6 times a year when there are regattas there.
Yes.
And trailers, there's like a community do things, they take spots right there. So that's probably a consideration, and maybe that alternate site, we said for a couple of reasons, might be.
Yeah, we plan to do that, Greg, and speak with the superintendent and the athletic director, and even if some people from the rowing want to go there, we're going to have a powwow, okay? And but right now we marked out another potential site this morning for it, and as I said, there is some problem with that because it's in the review area. Now the review area, it's not a setback, so that review areas can be granted permission to put certain things in it. And of course, after we talk to the school about it and have a little meeting out there or whatever, then Phil will arrange to have inland wetlands come out there to see if they would approve it. So, yeah. And what can we do to accommodate? I guess it's up to 5 regattas. I know when there's regattas there, it's a small park, and you need area to put the trailers and all the people in the cars and whatever. And but there's been much better with last year. I guess we had a few more than 5 regattas there, but it was only one school at a time, and I believe everything was handled much better. And we complimented Hildy Heck, the athletic director. Why am I don't know. I want to just call it the director of what? Athletics. That they're doing a much better job getting people not to park at the coffees and other establishments out there, and park at Townwoods Park and walk the quarter mile down, and to regulate who gets to park in that parking lot, because even though we expanded the size of the parking lot last year, it's still kind of small. Yeah, but at least we got another, 10 spots or 11 spots or something like that. Yeah, so it's an improvement. Okay, anyone else want a public comment? How about out in telephone land? Anybody there want to comment about anything? Okay, hearing none, I think it's ready. We're ready to have a motion to adjourn. Who would like to make it?
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any more discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? None. Abstain? None? Okay. Oh, good. It's only 6:55. We had a little late start because they had a meeting. So often less than an hour. Okay. Bye. Thanks for everybody that attended, and thank you for the people on telephone that are out there listening in. And we'll see you next month again. Okay. All right. Well, Martha, how'd you like your park and rec meeting?
I was here, so I thought I'd stay. Don't forget to shut your phone off.
Oh.